Welcome back, fellow mobile gaming fanatics. I'm MyTyme, this is Top Dries, and yes, you saw from that introduction that we were super fortunate and able to get the Porsche 959 car. So this beauty has now been added to our garage. If we have a look at it, it does have the high ground clearance. It also has a 4-wheel drive capabilities, no traction control, no ABS, which means it's not going to perform the greatest in those wet conditions. However, that is fine. Still extremely happy to get this car. I love getting price cars, special cars, because that is kind of the pinnacle of the game. That is what we're all aiming for. Do not be disheartened though if you're still quite new to the game. If you've been playing for a year, I played for a year and I wasn't able to get these tri-series prize cars. I could only get the cars which we're getting from the challenges, etc. The lower down, the rares, super rares, little special cars that you were getting. I wasn't able to get these cars until I started to build my garage. So that is the long term goal. Build your garage and eventually you'll be able to also compete for these kind of cars. But on top of that, I was also lucky because from the carbon fiber that came along, we did get the 911R. Super stoked to get another legendary car. It's also one that I haven't got. Not something I'm going to build at the moment. Not working on German cars, but it's a decent-ish solid car. It's going to have decent handling. It's going to go up to in the hundreds. You know, 0 to 60 is going to be down to about 3.1 or 3.2 on this. Traction control, ABS, lovely. Okay, just a decent, solid kind of track car. But again, something I'm not going to work on straight away. Now, how is everyone finding the European Revolution update so far? Are you all really excited? Now, I suppose I am kind of excited. I mean, they've got some nice new features here. For example, you can click on all cars and it will show you all the cars in the game, with your cars being highlighted and the ones which you don't have still being kind of greyed out. And this feature is lovely. I mean, you can come and filter from here. This is a great feature, okay? Great quality of life feature. However, and yeah, the Bugatti's now dropped down 1 RQ, which is a shame, so I no longer have a 100 RQ car. But however, there is something here that I think they could now do with this in place. I feel that they could give people rewards for owning a car. I think as soon as you have owned a car, it should come up in here and it should be, for example, I don't know, let's just say the Bugatti Chiron. If I've had it and I've still got it, it stays considered like this. Say if I've had it and now got rid of it, there's some little marker on it or some, I don't know, outline to it or something to let you know that it has been owned. Say it has like an orange outline to it, lets you know it's been owned but you no longer have it. And if you click on these cars, you get some kind of reward. It might not be enough, but say if it's every time you get a legendary card, you click on it and you get some kind of reward. Every time you got an ultra rare, you click on it in here, so you get some kind of reward, and you can collect all those and then use those to get yourself packs and other things, etc. I just think it'd be something nice when you collect cars and you don't keep them, or even when you just collect cars and they're hard to get, you get some kind of extra reward. And they've now got a catalogue here in the game, easy to access, so I think adding something like that would be something interesting to do, which wouldn't be too hard. But I digress for the moment. Let's just come in and show you all the cars you can get in European Revolution. So if you were unsure, you can go to collection and tags, click on European Revolution. We see 126 cars, click OK, and it would show you them all. But what we're more interested in is the actual cars that they have. So you click back on rarity, these are the cars in the game. As we notice, there's 42 legendary cars, 31 epic cars, okay? There are more legendary and epic cars than the other 4 categories combined. So what that means is I cannot see how a special event involving just European revolutionary cars is going to be coming anytime in the future. Okay, there's just not enough pool in the lower ranks for them to do that. Now they may say you need to use 1 car or 2 cars, for example. Yes, but a whole event, extremely unlikely. A lot of these legendary cars, epic cars, are going to be very, very hard for people to get, even the ultra rares. You're not just going to be picking them or pulling them, that's better, off of prize boards. So kind of a little bit yeah, bit of a kick in the teeth, I think, for some people. Then we've also got a couple of packs. Now I am going to finish these packs off, okay? I will get these packs when I also finish off the last 40 ceramic packs that I do for that test. So that's coming in the next video. I'll be hopefully following very shortly after this one. And we will finish off our experiment on those 100 ceramic packs opening, and we will also get the free European Revolution starter pack, probably the carbon fiber and the elite carbon fiber. Now if you see from this elite carbon fiber pack, it does have a special tag on it here saying you look like you are paying a lot of money, okay? You're paying a lot of money here. Let's have a look. In the free one, okay, in the free one you're going to get 5 free cards, all European Revolution cars, 10 slots. 10,000 cash, 5 slots. Every single car you get from this pack you'll be able to put straight into your garage and keep, and they're all going to be European Revolution cars, so some of those lower graded cars for you, allowing you to participate in a European Revolution event. I would strongly suggest keeping all cars which are under the European Revolution tag for the time being, at least until we know kind of what happens in the future. We don't know if some of the cars are going to get changed very soon or not, if they're going to actually be really good cars, if they're sleepers, etc. Any get for now, I would say hold on to. We then look at the carbon fiber one. It's going to be a standard carbon fiber pack with the 1 ultra rare guarantee, 20,000 extra cash and 10 slots, so you can get 5 bonus slots with this pack to go on with the 5 cards you get for $14.99. So this is like a normal carbon fiber pack. I'm sure a lot of people which have the cash or the gold in their account will probably get that pack. And then we move on to the elite one, which is going to give you 5 cards, 3 ultra rare or better, so you're guaranteed 3 ultra rares in this. You're guaranteed 1 Donkavort as well as 30,000 cash and 25 slots. And just in case you were unsure, they are basically guaranteeing you some baby slalom kings. So we have a look at Donkavorts here. You're going to be going from, I think you're guaranteed from this one, yeah, the S880 upwards. Now all these kind of cars, you click on them and see they're all going to be low ground clearance, no traction control, no ABS, but they're super ultra lightweight, decent 0 to fixture. They're going to be little handling machines, very similar to the Caterhams, that kind of idea. These are going to be cars which you can be using on twisty circuits, karting circuits, slaloms, all those kind of things. So you're going to get at least be guaranteed 1 of those. So what has actually happened to your garage since this update? Now it's extremely time consuming to go through and go over every car, but what I decided to do was to go through and just show you the majority, not all, but the majority of changes that have happened to my garage through the legendary and epic tags. Okay, we'll go through them fairly quickly. Now the Porsche 911 Turbo S, this car has had a boost for me. This car 0 to 60 from stock, obviously I don't have it here as stock, it's gone from 2.7 down to 2.6, so it's 0 to 60 is improved, as has its 0 to 150. That's gone from 19.2 down to 18, so it's had a boost in its MRA to an extent. So this car has got a little bit better. That is good. This car, in my opinion, seemed extremely underwhelming before. It didn't perform particularly well. That little boost will help it. Now the McLaren short tail has gone up in free handling, as well as the Aston Martin. That's had a buff. That has gone up from, or gone down from 3.7 to 3.5 on the 0 to 60, and it has also gone from 7.3 to 6.7 on the 0 to 100. Now you can't see the 0 to 100 stats on the cars, I appreciate that, that's to do with the MRA, but you can work it out. There are places to find out how to do that. You essentially get the 0 to 60 time, compare it with the 0 to 100 time, and you like multiply them together, kind of, basically. It's very similar to that. Anyway, I digress. So another buff to price cars. So 2 price cars I'm not working on, but they have had buffs. Now the McLaren has dropped in RQ slightly. As we come across a few more, one of the cars that has taken a big knock from me is my Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. Now this car has kind of, it's not been ruined, but it has been crippled a bit. Its 0 to 60 has dropped from, has increased from 3.2 to 3.6. So this no longer has my maxed out 2.7 0 to 60. It's now up to 3 seconds. To kind of counter that a bit, it has increased its 0 to 100 performance. That has gone down from 7.2 seconds to 6.9. Now, I don't know, I kind of thought that this car was good over 0 to, well, it was good over 0 to 60. It's now doesn't have quite that same appeal. It's still good handling, it's still a good car. Hopefully the 0 to 100 improvement will get that bit of extra MRA, will help it on fast circuits and stuff. So it's going to see, I suppose I have to really see how it actually performs out on the track. But it to me, it just felt like it had a bit of a nerf, and I don't think it was great to begin with. But a car which has got an improvement, the Ford GT here. Now the 0 to 60 from this decreased from 3.5 to 3.7, and the 0 to 150 went from 19.76 to 16.9. That's quite a big increase. That gives this car quite a big boost in its stats. It now actually looks like a half decent American car to have, especially for the lower end of the Legendary. It had a change as well for the year, which is irrelevant, but it can hold its own, I'd say now. So yeah, quite happy to see that. DBS Super Leggera Volante, another car which I have gone and worked on, which has taken, again, has followed its kind of older brother in terms of the 0 to 60 has been increased. So we've gone from 3.4 stock to 3.8, so no longer again the same kind of little beast on those 0 to 60s. However, the 0 to 100 has gone from 7.5 down to 7.3 seconds. So again, an MRA boost, mid-range acceleration boost to the car, but as a result, they have sacrificed its 0 to 60 capabilities. Now, as we move along, there is a boost to the BMW here. This went from 4.2 down to 4 seconds in 0 to 60, which will help it a bit. I definitely felt that this car looks and felt like it should be a really good Legendary four-wheel drive all-surface car. I haven't really used it too much because I didn't really find it actually as good as I thought it was going to be. So hopefully a buff like that to its acceleration will 0 to 60 time will help the car a bit. One kind of, I think maybe slightly surprising change is the Caterham Superlight. Now, while there's no stat changes here, it's been increased to 82 RQ, but keeping that epic tag. I think they have realised that the Caterham was pretty overpowered. For some reason, I obviously still haven't maxed it out. So you can see here, this is just an example of how stupid I was not to match this car out a lot earlier, because it's now been increased in RQ, because the car has been extremely powerful for a long time. So the Caterham Superlight, still an epic, but like the Audi, it's just a bit too powerful to be put in the same category as the other epics. And just have a look at one more here now, my Range Rover Velar. It's not this hasn't really had a lot done to it. Okay, it's had a buff, we'll call it. It's a buff, isn't it? The 0 to 60 is meant to have gone from 4.5 stock down to 4.3. I thought it was 3.6 anyway when it was maxed out, so maybe the max hasn't changed. It's just the initial start, and the improvements per upgrade have decreased slightly still to get to the 3.6, but I'm pretty sure that's the same overall stat as it was before the patch. So that is basically all the legendaries. As we start to go down, I'm going to click on a car like this, a Bentley, for example, the Bentley GT here. This has had a change just from seats. It's gone from 5 seats to 4 seats. Okay, this car is no longer classed as a 5-seat car. There's a few changes like that to a few cars, but one of the cars which has taken the biggest change during this patch is the KTM Crossbow RR. In fact, most of the KTMs. Now this car, as you can see from my stats, is maxed out. Okay, it no longer has traction control or ABS. They have nerfed it in that aspect. I heard that it was going to have slick tyres, but it hasn't. Okay, still keeping the rear the performance tyres. No traction control, no ABS, meaning that this car is now going to be a lot less viable on wet circuits. However, it has had a boost. Its top speed stock has gone from 144 up to 150. The handling went from 89 to 93. Here you can see I've got it maxed out at 103. The horsepower went up to 360, the torque up to 310, and the 0 to 100 was decreased from 7.83 seconds down to 6.9. So this car now, this is probably the car that most people, if they don't have it in their garage, people will want to get out, especially out of the epic cars after the changes. This is going to become the car for twisty circuits out of the rain, slaloms, tracks, etc. It only weighs 729. It's got great 0 to 60 now, amazing handling. Okay, it's improved. All right, it's not going to be great on the rain, so you're going to try and avoid the rain, but any dry surfaces we've got and stuff, this car is going to be what people will be picking. A bit like it used to be the Ferrari back in the day. I think this KTM is going to be a top choice of people to get from packs in the near future if they don't already have them. Another car which took a buff, which I think has actually helped the car a great deal, is the SRT Hellcat. This has gone up from 81 to 84 handling, so where it had 90 before with me, it now goes up to 93. And I might have actually upgraded this car slightly differently if I had known that. If I had known this buff was coming, I probably would have gone 233 in it. I went 323 because this was my drag car out of all the Hellcats. I decided to use the yellow one here, the wide body, as my kind of track one. This was going to be my drag one, but now it has track capabilities with that 93 handling. It is probably now going to beat the wide body on the tracks, probably everywhere. This is going to be the car which I'm going to be using a lot more as a result. We also have a look at the MG Metro. This was a price car, so probably not as interesting for some people, but the 0 to 60 dropped from 4.8 to 4.5, just improving this car. Its weight went down from 1030 kilograms to just a flat 1000, so this car got a buff. It was already a good car, it's just been made better. Now, just going to scroll through to a couple more to give you guys an idea of a few things which have happened. One of those which has happened is the Jaguar here has had a little bit of an improvement. Its handling's only going to go up one to make it up to an 89 max now for me. It was gone from 79 to 80, but even like a slight boost like that of a car like this, to me, medium ground clearance car, I've said it before, okay, forget the weight from it. It's not massively heavy, but it's heavyish. Decent decent peak power, decent torque. It's got ABS, got traction control. It's going to be a great city streets car, especially when we're seeing nerfs to so many other cars going down from medium to low ground clearance. It just gives a car like this even more weight in your garage, and just giving it a slight improvement to its handling is always welcome. But we come across to a car which has seen, I'd almost say it's demise here, the Ford Mustang Boss 302. This was a car which I was building, and I have started to. I never finished it, but I wanted to finish one because it had the medium ground clearance tag, which meant it was extremely handy, especially in American events. It's now been dropped to low. I will probably still finish one, but these ones here, I have absolutely no interest in keeping them now. I will have one of them. If I was going to build a Ford now, I come and build the Mustang GT Power Pack. Why? Because this car still has the medium ground clearance tag. So this car, without technically having anything done to it, it just had a massive boost, okay? This is the Ford now, if you want to use in city streets, the one you're going to go to. The Boss used to be the boss of that. This used to be the city street Ford, especially in the epic ranks. Now, the Power Pack is going to take over. Speaking of other cars which have had boosts around here, the Corvette Z06. We do have a Corvette event coming up very shortly, and this car has had quite a few changes to it, quite a few boosts. I mean, 0 to 60 to start went from 4.6 to 4.3. Its quarter mile time went from 13.03 to 12.7. So you're getting that boost in the lower end of the car. The top speed took a slight little drop from 171 to 168, but the handling also gained an extra point from 85 to 86. So for me now it goes up to 95 rather than 94. So this car now does better on the shorter quick drags, and it's had a slight little improvement to its handling. So an overall kind of rounded boost to that car. And the last car that I'm going to make a note of is where is this. Okay, Porsche 911 Carrera. I'm not going to go into all of the ultra rares because obviously there are a lot of other changes around, but this car, I use it quite a lot, and I just happened to notice from it 360. Okay, actually not as lot as I thought I did, but I seem to feel like I use it quite a lot. Now this car has also been changed. The 0 to 60 went from 5.4 down to 5.1, and its quarter mile went from 13.95 down to 13.6. So not a lot of change to it, but enough to make it a bit more potent. So at 62 RQ, I thought this, I want to see it. I actually want to use the car a bit more and see how it actually performs on the track. That looks like it could be half decent. But what's happened to your guys' garage? I mean, there are so many other changes to take into consideration. It is going to change the meta of the game a bit. Cars are going to become a bit more prevalent, and they're going to be more useful now from before, because you've got to remember what happens in an update like this is some cars become let's pick a car becomes less important, and I can't, you know, I'm not gonna scroll through and pick a car, but let's just say hypothetically the Audi here becomes less important. Okay, it's had a nerf, etc. It's not as strong, but that getting a nerf means then, for example, the Bentley, without being touched, becomes a more powerful car, as we saw with the Ford Mustang Boss and the GT Power Pack. The idea being that when one car is changed, another car, even if nothing was touched in it, it will naturally either have a change itself, whether it becomes now more viable or if it still stays in the same kind of bracket. Generally, if a car is nerfed, another car which hasn't been touched is going to end up being improved alongside it, and vice versa. If a car's improved and this one isn't touched, then this car's going to become more viable. So it's going to be interesting to see when I go through the rest of the garage and we start playing events, if there are certain cars there now that I start to use more than I did before. Anyway, thank you. Sorry this has been a bit of a longer video. I just wanted to go over the changes to my garage and hopefully some of the cars you may have that you didn't realise in your garage that have changed. We're going to be back very shortly to do the rest of that ceramic opening pack, as well as get these couple of bonus European Revolution packs, see what we can get. Until then though, I've been MyTyme. Thank you very much for watching. As ever, if you've liked what you've seen, please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.